He took them from their homes, their villages, their families. She was among them, but she did not spend her days thinking about herself. She spent them thinking about everyone else. That was the thing about her that undid him completely. He built his walls from stone and war, and filled them up with chains. Thought power was the only thing that washed away the pain. He marched his army through her village, took everything in sight, and she was swept up in the current of a cold and moonless night. They threw her in the dungeon with the broken and the lost. She looked around at all of them and counted up the cost. Not of her own captivity, but theirs, the ones who bled. She tore the hem from off her dress and bound their wounds instead. She asked nothing for herself while giving all she had. She sang to ones who couldn't sleep. She held the ones gone mad. And somewhere in the shadows of the corridor above, he stood and watched her tend to them, and felt something like love. She was light in a stone dungeon. She was warmth inside the cold. She gave away her everything to strangers, she was told. To fear, but never did. She fed them, held them, stayed. And a Fey Lord built from iron found his fortress had decayed. He came to her one morning with the coldest eyes she'd seen. She looked at him and didn't flinch, not what he'd thought she'd be. He said, "Why do you help them? They can give you nothing back." She said, "Everyone deserves what I would want, and that." He left without an answer, but the question wouldn't leave. He found himself returning to the dungeon every eve, watching through the torchlight as she moved from cell to cell. This ordinary woman breaking something in a shell. He told himself it meant nothing, just curiosity, no more. But he started leaving extra bread outside the dungeon door. And when she found it in the morning, she looked up at the hall as if she knew exactly who had left it there at all. She was light in a stone dungeon. She was warmth inside the cold. She gave away her everything to strangers, she was told. To fear, but never did. She fed them, held them, stayed. And a Fey Lord built from iron found his fortress had decayed. But darkness moves in silence through the corridors of power. A traitor in the armor biding time and waiting for his hour. He smiled behind his visor, swore his secret oath of hate, and sharpened something wicked for the Lord who sealed his fate. It was an ordinary evening. She was cooking by the fire, the great hall warm and golden, nothing hinting at the pyre. She was ladling out the portions, every prisoner fed in turn, when something in the torchlight made her stomach start to burn. A shadow in the corridor, a hand behind her back. The Lord was standing unaware, the knife along the track. She had one single heartbeat, one decision, nothing more. She dropped the bowl and ran across the cold stone floor. She stepped into the darkness, put herself between the blade and him. The steel found her instead of him. The world went cold and dim. He caught her as she fell, his hands against her wound, his voice the first real fear she'd ever heard him use. He sat beside her through the fever, never left her side, sent for every healer, every remedy he tried. His generals stood at doorways, wondering at their lord, who traded war for vigil and his armor for a word. She woke to find him sleeping in the chair beside her bed, her captor and her keeper, with his dark head bowed and head. She could have left that moment. The doors were open wide. Instead she reached across the space and touched his hand and cried. He woke to find her watching him, the way he'd watched her too. The tables quietly turning, something neither of them knew. To call by any name they had, so they sat inside the quiet and let their silence say it for them. But enemies don't sleep while lords are learning how to fear. The ones who sent the traitor had another blade of steel. They came at dawn with their oaths for the girl who knew too much, a threat that wore a friendly face and moved without a touch. He heard it in the hallway, that specific kind of still. He was on his feet before the door had time to show the kill. He put himself between her and the error in the air, and felt it find his shoulder standing where she'd stood, right there. He went down on one knee, the way she had before. She was already beside him, like she'd done this all before. Her hands upon his wound, his blood upon her hands. Two people built from different worlds finally understand. He built his walls from stone and wood and filled them up with chains. Thought power was the only thing that washed away the pain. He marched his army through her village, took everything in sight, and she was swept up in the current of a cold and moonless night. He threw her in